What if I told you that within our lifetime we could see healthcare advancements diminished? Routine medical procedures and small flesh wounds resulting in premature death. Even keyhole surgery, hip replacements, caesareans, all coming with major risks associated because we haven't the antibiotics to treat the infections. What if I told you that by 2050, antimicrobial resistant infections will become the biggest cause of death, predicted to kill more people than cancer? In fact, one person every 3 seconds. The drugs just don't work. We are not winning the war on antimicrobial resistant infections, and this is a reality that could soon face us all. My PhD involves finding solutions to this healthcare crisis. Now, where do these solutions come from? Originally, antibiotics were sourced from terrestrial places, the very bacteria within the soil beneath our feet. However, finding antibiotics in an environment already heavily investigated makes finding new antibiotics hard. Antimicrobial activity would usually be exhibited within the natural environment to help compete with other bacteria for nutrients and space. It's this continuing war where the antimicrobial compounds are secreted to kill competing bacteria. It's these antimicrobial compounds that we have packaged, harnessed, and prescribed in large amounts to people all over the globe. The problem is we've used them in such large quantities that the bacteria they used to kill when we had an infection have now too acquired methods to survive, and the antibiotics just don't work anymore. Therefore, my PhD involves investigating an alternative source, leaving the dry terrestrial earth and delving deep down into the unknown, deep onto the floor in the search of sea sponges, these interesting animals. It is specifically the bacteria living within the sea sponges that have my attention. They harness the same behaviour as terrestrial bacteria. However, they still have to compete for space and nutrients, as well as ward off infections. They are still capable of secreting antimicrobial compounds. However, it's the environmental differences that mean these compounds secreted could be very different from the antibiotics we use and could serve as a new line of defence in the antimicrobial resistant war. These bacteria are used to know light, high pressures, salt concentrations, and lower temperatures. These selective pressures lead to different antimicrobial compounds. It's these that I hope to find, and these antimicrobial compounds I hope to exploit for human medical use. I'll receive the sponges from marine biologists, replicate the deep sea environment to encourage as many bacterial species to grow as possible. Eventually, bacterial species begin to emerge, some known and others unknown. But what is the most interesting aspect is whether these species can kill the very infections that threaten us today. My work involves identification of both bacterial species and the compounds that express that could become the next antibiotic. The ultimate goal? Well, that's to develop a novel antimicrobial compound effective against common pathogens to prevent the loss of the healthcare system as we know it. Thank you for listening.